Who are you and what do you do here?
My name is Bruce Kelly, and I'm a game designer on the RPG team.
So the reason I'm speaking to you today is we've seen a lot of questions regarding named gear, named weapons, and all sorts of named stuff. And will we be seeing a lot more of them in future updates?
Absolutely. With the revisions to the gear game and what I call Gear 2.0, we've had to take a holistic look at all of our gear, and that includes named items and named weapons and gear. And for moving forward, we're going to be almost doubling the existing named weapons and gear, and there's always more to come. We're always adding new named items. When they're going to be available, we'll have to wait and see.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So you saw the snippet at the beginning of this video, and this is something that I wanted to discuss. Now, before I jump into the video, a little bit of personal promotion stuff here. I have a second channel that's named Video Game Fight School. The link is in the description. I need your assistance to achieve 1,000 subscribers on that channel. It will be really appreciated. And also I have links to other things that I'm doing. I have a book, I have a website. Check them out. Links in the description. Support however you can, or just, take a look at them and, scratch your chin and say interesting. However, that'll really be helpful. Okay, let's jump into today's video because I think this is something that's very important. So for most part of my discussions with the Division 2 content, I have said that, my only qualms, and I'm going to repeat it, you probably know it by now off the top of your head, is having replayable content that you can loop very well without being bored easily, and at this point having rewards for that content. So this clip, in my opinion, actually gives me a little bit more confidence, just a little bit more, and I'll say a little bit more because the developer or designer, whoever is in charge of this process, did mention that when these new named items that they have in the works are going to be dropped, is going to be subject to, unknown factors in our case, and what we know nonetheless. But I won't say, that this is not a good thing. I will say that it's a good thing because truly, what do I really care if there's going to be, a named sidearm or something? All I care about is that the named sidearm is worth my time farming, that the named sidearm or whatever it is actually pretty good and, balanced within the game and makes it something that is, sought out, that players really want to get their hands on. And another thing too is I think this also leads to, and lends to the fact and the aspect of what we've been asking for, which is new content in the game. So a lot of the things that we've seen is, the content type has been kind of linear. And, one of the things that will really make the replayable content style dumps really work is if you have a good number of rewards that you're trying to attain in doing them. And so I think it makes sense now with the last state of the game, with the power cap that needs to be increased, that the developers probably need to ensure that when they're doing a lot of these content drops, that they're doing it in a scenario where the amount of changes are being accompanied with a power level increase, being accompanied with new items, named items, and maybe a few exotics to kind of also make the pool quite interesting. And this will, in my opinion, eventually bring forward, a gameplay that people can say, okay, it's time for me to upgrade my gear. I already have my builds, but the only thing is they're lacking right now because they're not at the gear score that I would wish they are. So let's say, right now the new builds or the build defining numbers that we did see in the last state of the game, you could see that weapon damage was, maybe max rolled at around the 12.5% mark, something of that nature. I mean, I don't know if these numbers are even going to be existing when the game is released, if you understand what I mean. But then at the same time, 12.1%, sorry, that's the exact number that they showed on the state of the game. But at the same time, what you're going to see is, perhaps if they want to maybe bring out another content dump, they can take these numbers and add a little bit to them and scale things to follow. Maybe say, okay, the newest gear score level now, your critical hit damage can go all the way up to maybe 14%, if you know what I mean, and then maybe scale enemy health that way and scale enemy damage that way, because maybe they're increasing armor to a little bit more than, if you understand what I mean. That's kind of where I'm driving towards. rewards. And putting all this together, I think you're going to get a mix of interesting content that actually works. Another thing too is they can schedule a type of event system. It doesn't have to be exactly global events, but it can schedule an event system that's not based around locking content behind a timer. I don't know who's in charge of that decision. That, in my opinion, doesn't really bode well for the kind of farming that a lot of people like to do, if you understand what I mean. Like, just for example, the raid, you can play the raid over and over and over again. Now, the only difference is each character is only capable of getting keys, at a certain run, if you understand what I mean. But nonetheless, that same person, if the person has only one character, they can continue to run the raids with other people that are running the raids. They can just jump in and they still have a chance of somebody even dropping a reward from for them from the raid. It doesn't have to be the Eagle Bearer. It could be one of the raid specific gear set pieces that they maybe want that's not available in the open world, if you get what I mean. But then something like Kingly College is only available for a select time and then taken away, which I've not played Kingly College since the first time I played it and got my diamond back. I was out of there. That's what you're going to also see, that because of that timed issue, people who get their rewards, they're most likely not going to touch the same content, now leaving the content kind of bare for players who are new. I want to co-op. They will most likely be facing a drought of player participation, except maybe the content is just that good and a lot of players come back to touching it, if you understand what I mean. So largely, this event type system can also be a window for people to be able to farm a lot of these things. Like maybe they make that window how they used to do the global events where, because of the modifiers and all that stuff, people use those as an opportunity to be able to farm for specific gear and be able to get more trophies and be able to get more achievements, because that's another really cool thing as well. Achievements was a very big thing with a lot of the community in terms of the global events. They were much difficult in terms of content. Sometimes they were easy. Sometimes they made content very easy and fun. So, you could just run around and different modifiers were working either against you or towards you, or the modifiers, needed for you to play a specific way. So in my opinion, this is a very important piece of the state of the game that I haven't really heard a lot of people speak about, but this is definitely something that says if you work your way towards getting, a number of named items, maybe in almost every category, there's a named item, a named piece for everyone that's unique enough, especially now with the new reworks. I think that's probably made things slightly more complicated with the reworks that are coming, but they did mention that named items are still going to be things that you actually want to get a little bit more of. And then they're going to be overhauling and reworking weapon talents as well, which we haven't really seen anything so far. But I can almost guarantee you that the math is going to favor, with the new changes to the gear, the math is going to favor a good modification in terms of, I think I see an increase in the efficiency of what your weapon talents can do. So I'm really excited about this piece of the entire change that's coming to the game. And I hope to see that players are actually taking note of this so that we know that, okay, when we're getting new content, there's something to find there. And, I don't think it's out of the question for the developers to actually start looking at adding new brand sets to the game. Sure, we have a lot of brand sets. Currently, we have some gear sets, and, gear sets might seem like the answer, but brand sets still have a lot to offer because of their versatility. Gear sets kind of almost, if done well, lock you into one kind of a gameplay, which there's nothing wrong with. The way they designed Aces is actually pretty good. It's not ambiguous. It's just really straightforward that it's a marksman specific build and all that, all of that, intricacy that goes with it. But brand sets seem to be able to provide a lot more versatility, in my opinion. So I wanted to share this with you guys, and this is something on the horizon. I hope you guys take a look at it and comment in the comment section exactly how you feel about these changes. And I guess that's pretty much all I have for today. Thank you very much for your time and audience and for listening to the video. I appreciate y'all so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.